What up, crowdfunders? Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. And in the past, I've been putting out lots of videos covering real estate crowdfunding. And the reason is that this industry is freaking booming, man. It's been growing so much. And it's so privileged, I think, to be able to live in a time when it is so easy to invest in real estate. And today, I want to actually cover one of the newer websites out there that I think can totally transform this industry and that has some really cool cutting edge technology. In this sponsored video, I want to introduce you to this really cool resource for you if you are interested in investing in real estate online. But before you do, I want to talk a little bit about traditional real estate because there are some not so great things that come with owning a traditional real estate property. So for example, if you're going out there and you buy a traditional real estate property, there are a number of things that you're going to have to be aware of. Number one, costs. So when it comes to the actual costs that go into running a property, you are going to have fixing faucets, which I'll just lump under all contractors. You're going to have contractors. If you're dealing with a real estate property on a day-to-day basis, you're going to have contractors. You're going to have people breaking things. You're going to have to, fix a bathroom or something like that. You're going to have to paint walls. You're going to have to deal with contractors, and it's going to eat into your margins. In addition to contractors, you're also going to have renters. Renter, they might end up throwing a party and they might end up breaking a lot of stuff. Or a renter might not be paying his bills on time and he needs a little bit of, reminder there in order to pay his bills, and that way you can get your investment, you can get your cash flow going. Having a renter also, they might end up leaving, which we can get into in just a second. So there are different costs that come here. In addition, improvements. What if you end up buying a property, you have to make up different improvements before you actually flip this thing and it's in a condition to sell. So there are a bunch of costs that come with actually running one of these real estate properties. In addition, there are what I call emotional costs. Emotional costs are things that are they're kind of a hassle. They put gray hairs on your head, or they put wrinkles on your face. They're things you gotta deal with that are not so fun when you are a landlord. At being a landlord, number one, you have to fill your property. You have to fill your apartment, or you have to fill basically your property with tenants. You have to deal with tenants. What happens if a tenant, they end up reneging on their contract, or you're not able to fill this property with a tenant? You have to deal with that because that actually eats into your overall margins. If this thing is vacant, you're not going to be earning as much as you thought on a monthly basis there. In addition to emotional costs here, you're going to have to figure out eventually how to sell your property. You got to get a return at some point. You're going to have to sell your property, and you got to hope that it's appreciated in that span of time. If you have one property, you're doing lots of improvements, maybe when you actually need to cash out, it's not going to be a seller's market, and you're not going to get as good of a deal as you thought. Or in addition, having these tenants here, you're not able to cash flow the property long enough to continue to pay the mortgage payments to the bank. Therefore, it might end up going underwater during a downturn in the economy. So having to pay mortgage, and therefore downturn, that could not be so great. I think the fourth thing here, before I get into some of the ways you can combat this, the fourth thing would be having all your eggs in one basket. This is not good investing. Whenever all of your eggs are in one basket, it's really going to be a very volatile investment because you don't have any diversification. You basically are making a huge bet on one property. All of your money is tied up, and eventually, hopefully, you'll be able to cash out, but that is not necessarily going to be true. So let's talk about what would be actually a good investment. What would a good, healthy, profitable investment look like? I think the first thing would be that it allows you to diversify. You want to be able to basically put your savings, your life savings, if you're going into retirement or if you're an upstart business owner, you want to be able to put your savings into multiple different assets. You want to be able to invest in multiple different real estate properties or real estate ventures, or maybe even an overall basket, if you will, of assets. You want to put your money into something that allows you to diversify. There should also be liquidity. If you don't have any kind of liquidity, then you are going to have your money tied up for a really, really long time. Without liquidity, it's called, or basically the ability to change an asset that you have into cash, the way that you can with the stock market. If you're not able to trade assets for cash, you're going to have your money tied up, and it makes it really difficult to move and then sort of be nimble and make different investments as you go. I think a third one that I would put here would be having a hands-off experience. Now, you might be at retirement age, you might be having a 9-to-5 job, you might have a business like myself. You are spending your time basically producing goods and services for other people. You're doing stuff with your life. You don't have the time necessarily to become a full-time landlord, to be taking tenant calls, to be doing all the day-to-day of managing a property. I think a really great investment is one that is hands-off. Finally, I think that a great one is going to have security of capital or some kind of collateral, some kind of collateral. There's a reason why a bank will ask for collateral, and it's because not everything is a sure thing. In fact, I think most things in life are not a sure thing. When you have collateral, there's a little bit of protection there and preservation of the underlying capital and the underlying value of the investment. I want to introduce you to a resource that is going to allow you to check a lot of these different boxes, and then also I think is doing something different than any other website that I've seen out there. So this website is called BitCasas. And these guys, they're really cool. First, we'll talk a little bit about what they offer and then get into the technology and kind of like why this is actually different, why this is kind of innovative. So first of all, they give you access to mortgage secured notes. So basically on their website, you're investing in notes, and this is a bundle of notes. So like basically lots and lots of people are paying their mortgage, and when they pay their mortgage, you then get a residual income from that. This naturally is going to be secured by real property. So this is the collateral, as you might call it. There is real property underlying this investment, which makes it pretty cool. So when you're checking out BitCasas, that's the first thing that you should know, is that you're investing in real estate online, and you also then have the ability to diversify, and it's a bundle of notes. Now, besides having a really great team, there isn't necessarily anything innovative about this, but that's where step number 2 comes in. What these guys do is they use blockchain technology. Now, you might not be familiar with what blockchain technology is, but basically it's a really cool way to create security tokens, and in that way provide liquidity to a previously illiquid investment. So I know that sounds a little bit complicated, but stay with me. These guys use blockchain technology to create a security token offering. These are tokens, BitCasas tokens, that you can then trade on a marketplace. It could either be their marketplace or other exchanges around the world. And essentially what these tokens do then, they are secured by real property in the same way that a traditional investment might be. So this is called tokenization. Tokenization of real estate. They're taking real property, they're tokenizing it to allow you to have liquidity and to be able to trade this at any point in time on any major exchange. And then they're passing on this investment to you, and you're still with a traditional REIT in the same fashion, earning residual income off of your investment. The only difference being you now have that liquidity that you did not have previously. To tie all this together, another really cool technology that BitCasas is using is they use what's called smart contracts. And this is what enables pass-through dividends and capital appreciation. So you're making, this is the same thing, guys, as an old school investment, except they're using new technology to do this. They're using smart contracts to basically put those dividends and share them with you in the same way you would have residual income. In addition, you would experience capital appreciation. The difference being you can now trade this security token on crypto exchanges around the world, meaning ultimate liquidity. So let's recap this here. First, you start with a bundle of loans. These loans, once they've been approved, they've been bundled into a portfolio, then they are tokenized, and you basically are able to invest in these loans. The tokenization of real estate, this is where this happens. And because of that tokenization phase, then you can trade these tokens on crypto exchanges around the world, meaning lots and lots of liquidity. Naturally, also a risk-reward profile is assigned to these loan portfolios, so you can actually tell the riskiness of the investment. But the other thing that I really want to quickly say here is that I think that when a lot of people throw out that term cryptocurrency, you think Bitcoin. And as you know, Bitcoin is very volatile. But the difference here is that with Bitcoin, there is no underlying collateral. There is no underlying value to that actual currency, that digital currency. With this, you have real property that is underlying the overall token. In that way, you are going to have low volatility when compared to Bitcoin. You don't have to worry about, cryptocurrency or these sort of fancy terms that we throw out there. You don't have to worry about maybe having some volatility that you didn't even consider. Instead, this is going to work as a seamless process where you're going from loans to then it being tokenized and you being able to invest, and then the dividends and the appreciation being passed on to you with smart contracts, enabling security and just overall easiness. So if you don't want to have to deal with the day-to-day management of a property, if you want to have more liquidity, if you want to have good performing notes or the ability to actually invest in mortgages that are going to give you residual income or passive income, as they say, and also you want to make use of some of the cutting edge technology that's out there that now enables all this and sort of hands this to you, the individual retail investor, I'm going to link down below to this new website, this new tool, this new resource that you can use to explore the exciting world of real estate crowdfunding. I believe we're seeing the infancy of a new technology that can dramatically transform the world and the way that transactions are done, very similar to how crowdfunding was or how real estate crowdfunding was in its early days. We're just seeing the emergence and the infancy of this. And if you want to sort of hop on that bandwagon before this one blows up, I urge you guys, go and check out the link down below. You can learn a little bit more, and also how you can participate in some of these investments on that platform. I hope you enjoyed today's video. My name is Salvador Briggman, and I will see you next time.